I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. In the January 6th committee's deposition of General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Milley states in no uncertain terms that there is a deliberate attempt adversely impacting the health of our republic to smear the military, to smear the general officer corps and leaders of the military, and to politicize the military. And he specifically calls out Congressman Gaetz and people like that, MAGA extremists like that. He doesn't use the term MAGA extremists, but he talks in this deposition about the harm it is causing the United States of America when these MAGA Republicans attack the military and try to politicize the military. Specifically, as we go to page 63 of General Milley's deposition, Adam Kinzinger is asking the question on line 9, and Kinzinger says, look, I won't take long, General. I appreciate the statements. I'm concerned too, as a guardsman. Kinzinger's a guardsman, just with, the vaccine, of course, and the political statements and everything. And he's referring to how MAGA extremists were attacking the United States military for having a vaccine mandate for COVID, as it does for everything else where you need a vaccine for. Kinzinger goes on to say, and I wanted to add, given what we've learned on January 6th and how close we actually came, I think it is essential that you continue to push the depoliticization of the military. It doesn't mean another CBT or, class, but because I think that is one thing, as I was sitting in my office on January 6th, that I knew we had, which is the military, which is why I felt confident we wouldn't fall. And so I just wanted to add and say that I know it's not necessarily the appropriate venue, but I thought it was important to say. So thank you. And General Milley's response is, yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it is fundamental to the health of the republic that we have an apolitical military. And apolitical means nonpartisan, neither Democrat nor Republican. And we execute the lawful orders of the civilian leadership that's appointed over us. The key is, quote, lawful, end quote, orders. And therein lie some judgment calls. But I mean, it's something that I've been talking about a lot, even though I've become a lightning rod for the politicization of the military. And I am constantly strung out as an individual, and also with Secretary Austin, the Defense Secretary, and others, the Chief of Naval Operations, the Sergeant Major of the Army. There's a whole bunch of us that have been, look, my own senior enlistment to the chairman, Senior Master Chief in the Air Force. There's a whole series of these examples where on various news stations, he's referring to Fox, but he goes, on various news stations, our photos go up, and it's been very consistent for going on 4, 5, 6 months now. Some of it is comments that I made in testimony about critical race theory and white rage, so 90 seconds with Congressman Gaetz and Waltz result in, 4, 5, 6 months of this constant drumbeat that is very damaging, in my view, personally, to the health of the republic, because there is a deliberate attempt, in my view, to smear the general officer corps and the leaders of the military and to politicize the military for whatever reasons they think that's valuable. And I think that's something that we need to avoid. So anytime the MAGA Republicans say, oh, they're for the military, they're for the troops, this is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff name dropping and saying how damaging to the health of our republic it is when these MAGA Republicans go out there and demean and undermine our military, undermine the integrity of the military, say things like our military is too woke. I mean, look, you would expect our foreign adversaries, people like Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, that they would go about engaging in propaganda to try to undermine our military, to try to shatter the confidence in our military. And they do. But let's not forget that the current MAGA Republican Party is in essence a proxy. It's subservient to, it wants to be a satellite to, or at least that's the way its conduct is reflective of Russia. You have Donald Trump saying that Kim Jong-un is he's in a romantic relationship with him. He says that China President Xi should be referred to as king. You have all of these MAGA Republicans praising Russia, praising what the Russian military looks like. And look, just here's an example. This was a post that Ted Cruz made where he's reposting a propaganda video of Russia. Think about this. A United States senator is posting a propaganda video of Russian soldiers who have proven to demonstrably be incredibly weak and very poor performing soldiers. Granted, Ted Cruz's statement was before the unlawful invasion of Ukraine by Russia, but Ted Cruz posts this propaganda video by the Russians and says, holy crap, perhaps a woke, emasculated military is not the best idea. And what they refer to is the fact that our military is diverse. Our military has a lot of Hispanic people in our military. Our military has women in our military. Our military is reflective of the melting pot the United States of America is supposed to be. And I don't know if you saw this meme that's all being circulated across right-wing media as well. And it's in line with what Ted Cruz says. And this is something that gets reposted by MAGA Republicans frequently. And it's a visit that Vice President Harris made to South Korea, where she took a photo with people in the Air Force. And the photograph reflects, again, the diversity, men, women, people of all race, color. And then they do this account called End Wokeness. It's a right-wing MAGA influencer. They then show the Chinese military, a force that's in formation, screaming and yelling, and say, China's military versus our military. What we ordered, what we got. And this is not unique to this meme. This is the constant drumbeat from MAGA extremists to try to undermine confidence in our military, to attack the way our military looks, to attack the fact that our military does want to examine diverse viewpoints in order to understand the enemy, in order to understand culturally, though, what people are experiencing, not just understand the enemy, to also understand diverse experiences and to understand what's going on across the world, and to not limit ourselves to just, performative stuff and performative, just waving the flag for the sake of waving the flag. And one of the things that General Milley points out here, he talks about this encounter he had with Matt Gaetz, where Matt Gaetz was attacking him for, having studies, teaching or allowing diverse teaching to occur within the military. Here, I'll play you this encounter between Milley and Gaetz, where Milley says, just because I read a book about Marxism doesn't make me a Marxist. We need to read a lot. We need to be well read. We need to understand the cultural dynamics that exist. And frankly, that's what makes our military strong. Because if you want to do the direct contrast where you have an authoritarian like a Putin or an authoritarian wannabe like a Trump, you end up with the Trump COVID policy because he thinks he's smarter than Dr. Fauci, and then you go and attack Dr. Fauci. That same logic is transplanted in the military setting, because that's how dictators and wannabe dictators think. They need to control every aspect of it, so they're not nimble. Then you have to encourage just people to be yes men or yes people, and they then don't give you accurate information, and that results in adverse outcomes. Here, let me just play this video of Milley confronting Gaetz. This was back in 2021. Play this clip.
Mr. Chair, and thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today. I know my time is very precious, but I would like to yield some of my time to General Milley because I know that he had some comments that he wanted to make when Representative Gaetz was talking, as well as Mr. Waltz, about a similar subject of the stand down and race theory. Would you like a minute or so to comment on that? Do you remember what your line of questioning or thought was there?
Sure. First of all, on the issue of critical race theory, et cetera, I'll obviously have to get much smarter on whatever the theory is. But I do think it's important, actually, for those of us in uniform to be open-minded and be widely read. And the United States Military Academy is a university. And it is important that we train and we understand. And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white, and I want to understand it. So what is it that caused thousands of people to assault this building and try to overturn the Constitution of the United States of America? What caused that? I want to find that out. I want to maintain an open mind here, and I do want to analyze it. It's important that we understand that because our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians, they come from the American people. So it is important that the leaders, now and in the future, do understand it. I've read Mao Zedong. I've read Karl Marx. I've read Lenin. That doesn't make me a communist. So what is wrong with understanding, having some situational understanding about the country for which we are here to defend? And I personally find it offensive that we are accusing the United States military, our general officers, our commissioned, non-commissioned officers, of being, quote, woke or something else because we're studying some theories that are out there. That was started at Harvard Law School years ago, and it proposed that there were laws in the United States, antebellum laws prior to the Civil War, that led to a power differential with African Americans that were 3/4 of a human being when this country was formed. And then we had a Civil War and Emancipation Proclamation to change it. And we brought it up to the Civil Rights Act in 1964. It took another 100 years to change that. So look it, I do want to know. And I respect your service, and you and I are both Green Berets. But I want to know. And it matters to our military and the discipline and cohesion of this military. And I thank you for the opportunity to make a comment on that.
Thank you, General.
So there you have it, folks, in the deposition transcript coming from our top military general discussing the damage being caused to our republic by MAGA Republicans' attack on the military. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit the subscribe button. We are on our way to 1 million subscribers thanks to your incredible support. And in addition, check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. We have lots of exclusive content there, but most importantly, help grow this independent media platform. Until next time, I'm Ben Meiselas.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy. And look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs, It Wasn't Rigged, You're Just a Loser, at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.